How's everybody doing, folks? This is interesting. So we got a major collection deal here done in Florida, and I just wanted he wanted me to mention this when we actually discuss it and share everything with the world. I mean, look at this. We got Imperial Recruiter here, and he's holding 2 complete sets of Collector's Edition. So that is kind of the core component of this massive deal we did. So, and he wanted me to mention that he's an advocate for cluster headache awareness. Now, I'm going to be very blunt with everybody. I know very little about non-financial, non-cardboard world. When it comes to medical and different sorts of, different fields, I just don't have the knowledge. So I learn, just like a lot of people out there do. So I've never even heard of a cluster headaches. And apparently, 0.1% of the population suffers from this, and he suffered from this since he was 15. It went chronic in 2008, putting me on full-time disability. People see the word headache in the name, and they think, oh, it's a headache, which is far from the case. It's simply where the pain is located. It's a combination of inflamed blood vessels and trigonometric nerve telling you that you're in pain. The closest thing I can describe in terms of pain is having a brain freeze from drinking something cold too fast, but it lasts 30 minutes to 3 hours and repeats like clockwork in 3-hour intervals. In the REM, the sleep state, is one of my triggers. I'm on medication that has mitigated things to only several times a week and reduced the pain tremendously. I still wake up at 3-hour intervals and holy cow. So first, for the moment right there, I've never even heard of that before. And it reinforces, I tell you all out there watching, listening to these videos, you're into magic, all these things. I've said it a million times at the end of my videos. You gotta appreciate and look and have a good perspective. There's a lot of amazing things, and a lot of us are very lucky in this world, but we don't realize it. We don't appreciate it because we never slow down to go outside and just look at, simplistic, basic. We're so wrapped up and angry at little things and wound up at some driver on the way home or some person at work or some guy on the internet who's slinging tacos. You got to appreciate how lucky 99% of us are and how amazing things are. And people don't slow down and look in the right direction. And they don't get it. All right. Sorry, I had to say that. Enough of that. My ex and my oldest son played Magic with me. Several friends on almost a weekly basis for a while. The couple we played with regularly moved to Seattle, where they got to see people like the old Anson Maddox and the old Chris Rush. And so they would send us signed cards every now and then. So, yeah, I wish you did. When my second son was born in the 90s, okay, so I was wondering why he didn't have a lot of, like, we have some of the old, he had a lot of Unlimited and Revised, but he didn't have, like, Power 9 or anything. Okay, I sold the high-end cards, the Lotus, all that stuff to help pay for diapers, car seats, etc. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, premium. Okay, so you definitely had your hands full. Okay, so first, there's lots to talk about, a lot to unravel in this video. I really appreciate the good. It was a really enjoyable, really cool transaction. He got a lot of money for this, as you can imagine. I'd estimate, the transaction itself, this is probably, I'm going to guess between some of the single cards I'm going to go over and the collector's edition set, I'm going to guess like retail value, if you actually sold everything individually, would probably be 30,000 to 40,000 range. That would be my guess. But again, the biggest issue we ran into was conditions, because he really loved to play these. So, and by the way, if you have an empty collector's edition box, like an extra, just those little boxes, I need to buy a couple of them, so please contact me. AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. And again, I don't use social media. I don't comment in this comment section. Any comments below of fake names and people pretending to be me and all that scams that go on, anybody on social medias or using my names, it's fake. Remember, the only way to reach me, AlphainvestmentsLLC at Gmail or through Patreon, which you can't do. So, email. Okay, so he played these. So I finished auditing to make sure the cards were here. But I've been mostly just wanting to go through because some of them look really nice. Like some of these are truly, that's a nice near mint card. I don't have any concerns. It's beautiful. I have no complaints, concerns. That is a full price, no deduction, no problems. I think the other Ancestral was the same way. But when we get to like the Black Lotus, a certain card, yeah, that's very nice. So I guess he didn't play blue. Am I right? But when you get to some of the cards in here, we ran some of them really well loved. I guess he has them in alphabetical order. Because now this was what I want to talk about. This was one of the things I was not a fan. And to this day, look, I know I'm going to get bashed into oblivion. I know people are just really going to be unhappy when I say this. I'm still not a huge collector's edition fan. Okay, I'm still just, I know a lot of you out there love the CE cards, the ice cards. I'm just not. And one of the things is these old CE cards, when you played with them back in the day without sleeves, like that was why people reback and like rip these cards apart. Because look, it literally comes apart just from handling the cards. Like the gold, like I don't know what it was, the ink or whatever they used to put on these things, it literally just comes off. Like I've seen people back in the day who would almost take erasers and just erase the gold and clip the corners and try to rebat. That's the only problem with these things. And of course, the pokey, pointy corners, they get damaged so easily. So that was just something I really wanted to just kind of bring to attention of those of you who were into these collector's edition cards. They've become a very hot commodity in modern times. They're worth quite a bit of money compared to being almost worthless a long time ago. So just be aware the condition of these things is extremely, extremely important. As with all old cards, but these are even more condition sensitive. These are just the most condition sensitive of any. I mean, these are more condition sensitive than foil cards. In foil cards, you can open from a pack, never even touch. But if you don't store it properly, the surface will oxidize, you'll have problems and little dirt, you'll have weird stains and everything on it. So that's really what we want. And again, you can see, so these were non-sleeve play. These were slit on counters, you can tell. You can see the way the edge wear is, which again, is also a sign that the cards are authentic and they are the real deal. So again, I would assume the old Moxons are going to be the same thing. I think he has alphabetical. So let's go to the M's. Yeah, it's alphabetical. So the good news is, like he didn't play green. I mean, look how nice these elves are. You've got cards that are beautiful. They are near mint. But of course, the heavy hitting cards you can tell he did play. That's, I'm not really bashing it because that's what these old cards were all about. That's why they're so valuable, is most are played and damaged. But man, you can see, like, it just comes off. Like, look at this. Look at, what is this one? Okay, so I guess he played white here. Look at this pearl. Seriously, no joke. Check this out, everybody. Look at this thing. Like, literally, it's just completely, like, the card. Like, I can feel the card, like, disintegrating on the edge. Isn't that nuts? And I know a lot of people out there, and again, before we get any further in this video, I know a lot of you out there are going to contact me and say, Rudy, I sell those played cards in the video. Friendly reminder, I do not sell any of these. This is just informational, educational channel. We're a taco empire. Sorry, all the vintage cards you see in these videos, remember, they are not for sale. I won't respond. If I get messages, we just delete for people asking to buy old cards or vintage or anything to see in the videos. I apologize, but again, we do not sell anything. Those messages don't get responded to. We don't just, again, it's been 5 years. Nothing's changed. Just letting you all know. But anyways, I know a lot of people out there, one of the reasons I still like a collection like this, even if it's a lower price because of the substantial play wear on a card like this, is that I know that even now and going into the future, there are still a lot of people that don't care about that. Because they're like, Rudy, I could double sleeve that, put it in my deck, and look at that. Look at that from a distance. I'm good to go, man. And I know that's what a lot of people look at, and that's what a lot of people care about. So that is why I really wanted to discuss that. So on to the overall, we're going to have a little conversation now. All right. So again, it's time to talk about the overall market of collector's editions. So we're going to leave everything here. If you guys want to just look at some of the cards, I guess I can flip through or something. But I mostly want to talk to you all about the collector's edition marketplace as a whole. And by the way, I'm going to color sort these as I'm talking real quick. So the collector's edition, a lot of people value the actual collector's edition differently from the actual international collector's edition. I personally do not. I understand the international ones have a lower print run, supposedly around 5,000 range, and supposedly around 10,000 for the actual international ones. How accurate and what the exact numbers are, I'll be honest with you, there's speculation, but we really don't. We just don't know. Nobody really does know the exact numbers. All right, so as far as pricing goes, there's a lot of speculative money, a lot of people really trying to figure out where these things are going to go long term, and if they've already gone up so much, is there any... Ooh, look at that Chaos Orb. I guess he didn't play with the Chaos Orb. He didn't flip it. That's nice. Okay. The price has already come back quite a bit. I'll be honest with you all. A couple years ago, I was buying these things, the complete sets of collector's edition that were open. I was paying probably around $4,000 a couple years back when they were way cheaper. We're talking 2017 range, okay? So now, like even a rough condition one like this, with the high-end cards have a lot of play, you're still probably going to be looking at probably around $10,000, even in rough shape. You know, but again, that's going to be very dependent on what kind of wear the cards like the Lotus and the Power 9, the dual lands have on the overall condition, the overall value. That's going to swing the numbers really, really big on everything. So moving forward, I believe these things are still going to appreciate in value, but I've been saying it for a little bit, for kind of a while now. I actually think the price appreciation is going to start leveling out right now. In the short term, I think we've kind of hit some short-term tops and things have gone up so much. I expect to start seeing a little bit more, how do I say it, a little bit more stability in the market, a little bit more calm, a little bit more lack of, I don't know, crazy price swings. I think the market's really kind of found its maybe niche, or kind of, I don't really know how to say it. It's really kind of starting to find its sweet spot. Find that balance of the buyers and sellers and what cards should be worth and what cards shouldn't be worth. I think that's really where we're at. So moving forward, for now through the rest of the year, unless we have a catalyst of a major market uptick, or, you know, hey, I've been hearing about crypto starting to really tank here, maybe a large market downturn that can kind of bleed into the Magic market to put downward pressure on Magic cards and other asset classes. And that's possible. But overall, you know, when we trend sideways, it tends to weed a lot of people out. It really tends to separate the paper hand short-term people to the people who truly love the product or want to keep it long-term. You really, really weed that out really, really quickly. Because when there's no price appreciation, and you've got a lot of investors that are leveraged, or people who don't really care about the game, they were just trying to flip something, those people are gonna be like, I don't want these cards. They're not doing anything. I don't want to sit on them. I want to get rid of these things. And those kind of things, when those moments happen, that's when you see kind of supply and inventory hit the market. You start to see kind of more substantial price swings. And, you know, and I'm gonna have a longer card sorting video coming up here, because we are about to approach the quarterly. Rudy has to merge all the collections from the last couple months. And those usually have me do the 1 hour long discussions. People love those things, where I just ramble about everything going on in the world. So something like that's probably going to be coming up next year, so we can talk about Magic, this crypto dropping stuff, and a lot of other things that are actually going on right now. So, I still don't have a passion for collector's edition cards. This is not my favorite passion thing. I love Alpha #1, and believe it or not, I like Unlimited as my #2 favorite, and Beta is like my #3 favorite. If you want me to be honest, that's really what I enjoy. These collector's edition cards, they're neat. Don't get me wrong, I like them. I have no problem buying them, especially if it's a good price and a large package deal and a lot of money involved, and it's worth the deployment of money. But overall, these are not really. These just don't do it for me. They're not my thing, you know. And I think that moving forward, I think they're still going to perform well, but it's just not my personal favorite. That's really all I have to say about that. So for those of you out there, I know a lot of people collect and just buy single cards of these things, or they kind of handpick their favorite cards. And that's fine. And remember, you know, every card in Collector's Edition is the same rarity. So a Black Lotus is just as rare as the Savannah Lions and just as rare as Escaped Zombies. So I know it's kind of a little weird thing, but remember, this is a product where rarity is equal across the board of all cards except the basic lands, because they have multiples printed. So it's really, I don't really have much else to say as far as the Collector's Edition items. I do want to flop over to one last thing towards the end of this video here. Let me finish doing this little stack of cards here. I just want to bring in the side of the video here, because this collection also had a lot of unlimited and revised cards. Unfortunately, he claimed that most of the cards were unlimited, but unfortunately a lot of the cards were actually revised and mixed in, which is very common, and usually that happens once I start auditing. A lot of people mix up the unlimited and revised cards back in the day. That was extremely common. That was a very, very normal thing because of how similar the cards actually look to each other. A lot of people would just they would blend them together. So off camera here, I want to show you a couple things. So this is really interesting. We have some really nice unlimited rares. And I already pulled these out, sorted thousands of commons and uncommons. And these were the really nice unlimited rares that we came across. I know I should have talked about this earlier in the video. So this was really exciting. Now, again, some of these have some damage. Some are beautiful. Like, this was the batch that I pulled out that were really, really nice. And these are all the rares. Again, no Power 9, not super, you know, we don't have any moxes. We have some cards, again, heavily damaged. This one's actually bent. But really cool cards. And you know what's amazing? I told you, this is Unlimited is my second favorite, because it's the only white bordered Lotus, the only white bordered old artwork on certain cards. And there's certain cards here I just want to show you. Let me see if I can find them. Like Rocket Cur Ridges, you know, Raging River, you know, Northern Paladin, the Shadows. Okay, here you go. Natural Selection, beautiful. Lord of the Pit, you know, Mana Flare, and the infamous Dark Prince Mana. You know, the cards like this, I know they're not worth a ton, but they have gone up quite significantly recently, and it's an interesting conversation. So, also, I want to show you guys the actual dual lands, and he claimed he had like 38 dual lands. Unfortunately, I did not find that many. We did have some unlimited dual lands, were really, really nice. Look at that. And then we had, after the unlimited, unfortunately, then the rest were actually revised. Most were revised. The dual lands were about half and half, but a lot of people mix them up. And again, it's a subtle difference. If you're not handling these things almost, you know, on a daily basis, you know, it can be very easily confused. So, but, and again, some of these are pretty rough. We got another creased card. You know, this dual land, we got bends on the dual lands. You know, this one's played. Some of these actually have, like I said, some of these, there was a few, I guess we can just look at the back. There's a few, yeah, see this one is actually creased at the bottom also. That one's almost literally damaged. This one at the top has light wear marks. This one has almost water wavy damage. So again, it was really cool. That one has literally a bent corner. If you guys can see that right there. This one has something puncturing through the middle. So again, this was a players loved collection. Not complaining about it, very happy this deal was done. And then of course, when I was pulling out a lot of the rares from Unlimited, unfortunately, these are all the rares I pulled out, and these were actually all revised. So again, like the Mana Vault, great card. Unfortunately, this one is revised, not unlimited. But these cards, even in revised, folks, I'm telling you all, you know, Hurkyl's Recalls, Islands, you know, Scepters, Earthquakes. Like I said, some of these cards that you would never think are worth anything. These things have value. They've been on the move, man. You know, Kudza, very cool card. The Lace is terrible. Mana Barbs, Hacks, you know, the Lords. You know, Atlantis is always popular for the merfolk decks. Lord of the Pit, just iconic card. You know, Mana Vault, always iconic. Power Surge, always terrible. The Disc, Nightmares, great cards. Paladins, and it's Rocket Launcher. I thought it was an uncommon. Is that a rare? Righteousness, Rock Hydras, Millstones. You know, the Enchantress, beautiful. Howling. You have a lot of, you know, Jaemon Daytun. You know, you got a lot of the Clocks, Fast Bonds. There you go. There's some nice ones. The old cock over there. Just wanted to say it. See how many people are watching this late in the video. So you can see, and I run into that a lot. I've had a lot of issues over the years with collection and doing large transactions, where people will send me, you know, Rudy, I got almost a complete set. I got thousands of unlimited cards, and unfortunately, it turns out it's like maybe 300 unlimited cards, like 700 revised, and they're all mixed together, and I got to kind of, you know, segregate the unlimited revised and kind of split them all apart because, you know, the valuation and the financial value is just it's just a really big difference because of the supply out there. So overall, I want to share this awesome collection. This collection also had a lot of bulk. I'm not sharing off camera. There's, you know, Ice Age sets, you know, sets of Fallen Empires. There was a Mirage set, very cool, one Lion's Eye Diamond. I just didn't pull that out of the box for this video. I apologize. We did have a bunch of Antiquities bulk, a bunch of cards from the Dark, a lot of bulk, all bulk, just common uncommons. We did have 2 workshops that were damaged and everything. I don't have them over here, though. I have not finished. That's in the other location still as I pull through them. But it was just a really, really cool experience, and we haven't done a lot of collection videos lately. I've been so focused on other things, so I wanted to share this today, especially around the Collector's Edition. I know it's been a while. The Collector's Edition conversations they don't get discussed much on this channel. So, in conclusion, as we march to the future, everybody, if you still have the passion for old Magic and you love how the game was originally meant to be and how it was built, I do recommend averaging and moving into these collectibles long term. You got to be patient. The market's volatile. We don't know what the future holds. And again, I'm a taco advisor. Speak to a licensed real person if you want real advice. But overall, if you like this stuff, the last 25-year track record is incredibly impressive. And I don't think the next 25 years are going to be any different. I think the next 25 years will be more volatile, but I think appreciation and price movements is going to be pretty similar. I really do, especially with continued inflation, demand, price swings, and Wizards printing new things to oblivion and destroying credibility on new products, which is forcing the flow of money elsewhere, which is like to old products, you know, other card games and all kinds of things going on. So that's really where it's at. And again, if you don't want to spend a ton of money, average it just like they do on Wall Street, man. You know, buy one little common card of Collector's Edition, you know, per week for, you know, $5 or something. Just slowly buy a few things at a time and take your time. So if prices go up and down, you average all the swings out. It doesn't make a difference long term. You always got to be patient. And like I said, don't rush. And, you know, you got to remember, when you watch this channel, you're seeing me as a result of 20 years of doing this. So just remember, take your time, folks. It's a marathon. We're all carrots. We all like to jump in holes. Have a good day.